Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, a very intriguing Big 12 matchup as Cincinnati heads on the road to play BYU. And I want to start with this. You saw a lot of national college football pundits, a lot of people on social media taking a victory lap that the Big 12 newcomers all went 0-4 to start the Big 12 conference play. I'm going to say this real quick. You take a look at those games, these teams, no doubt in my mind, are going to be very competitive year one in the Big 12. You look at Cincinnati, hosted Oklahoma, one of the top offenses in the country, only gave up 20 points to, again, an offense that is top 5 in a lot of top metrics of offense. You look at this BYU team going on the road to a Kansas team that I think is a legit top 25 team. They outgained Kansas. If it wasn't for throwing a pick six, giving up a scoop and score, there's a very real reality where BYU wins that game at Kansas. We're talking about a top 25 BYU team heading into this matchup. You look at UCF, they go on the road to the reigning Big 12 champs in Kansas State with a backup quarterback and give them about all they can handle. Now, Houston might just think that is what that is. But these three teams, Cincinnati, BYU, UCF, are going to be very competitive in the Big 12. Excited to get into this matchup. Some interesting stats I want to get into before we do, though. Just want to say thank you to you guys. The support that you guys have shown the boys, over 9,000 subscribers. Can't thank you guys enough. It's a great college football community that we are building, and you guys have been a part of it. Again, very much appreciated. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. But like always, the best part about doing this, hearing from you guys, learning from you guys in the comment section. I'm actually going to start with a BYU question for you guys. Cody Epps, hard to find some information around that hamstring injury. If you guys have any information on that, let me know in the comment section. Can't wait to see him back on the field. Without further ado, let's get into this. And I want to start with the BYU offense going up against the Cincinnati defense that is extremely solid. They got an All-American caliber player in Dante Corleone in that center of that defensive line. 1 through 11, I was really impressed with how they were able to match up against Oklahoma. Gave up some explosive plays, but from a down-to-down basis, Cincinnati really hung in there with the Sooners. And you look at this BYU offense, Keaton Slovis specifically. I thought he looked phenomenal against Kansas. I know he threw 2 interceptions, 1 tip ball, 1 looked like it was a little miscommunication with the wide receiver. Keaton Slovis, to me, watching that BYU Kansas game back this morning, he looked like that first-round NFL draft pick that people were talking about 2 years ago. He's battled some injuries, transferred to a couple different schools. That performance that you saw against Kansas, 30 of 51, 357 yards of passing, he was ripping the ball in the middle, pushing the ball down deep, extremely accurate with his passes, really good pocket presence. He looked like in full command of that offense. If you get that version of Keaton Slovis throughout Big 12 play, this is a BYU team that is going to be a tough out for everyone who they're playing. Then you look at the wide receivers that we have some question marks about the run game, right? Let's just get that out of the way. Averaging 2.2 yards per carry, weren't really able to get anything going against Kansas on the run game. That being said, I think you're seeing this BYU offense look at what do we do well, and that's what they're going to. You got some real playmakers: Lassiter, Chase Roberts, Isaac Rex continues to be one of the best tight ends in America. And they're getting the ball in space to these guys, letting them work after the catch, working the ball down the field. You add a guy like Cody Epps, Keanu Hill gets healthy again. This is an offense that, with Keaton Slovis playing the way he is, really is going to be dangerous. And you're going to get a good feel for how good this offense can be at home against Cincinnati because, again, this Bearcats defense, I know they don't have the NFL draft talent that they had a couple of years ago. It's still a really good defense that just held Oklahoma to 20 points. Now, flipping sides, this BYU defense I thought did pretty well. We haven't really seen many defenses stop this Kansas offense. You take the 14 points that they scored on defense away, that was a pretty good performance from BYU on the defensive side of the ball. I think you have 3 really good linebackers: Tooley, Bywater, AJV. And you talk about a Cincinnati team that wants to run the ball. They're running the ball on 55% of their snaps on offense. That's going to be the matchup, I think, for this. Because you look at Emory Jones, as much flack as Emory Jones gets for not being the best pocket passer, when he's in third and short and you keep him out of those third and obvious passing situations, that's when he's at his best. And when Emory Jones and this Cincinnati offense are able to stay kind of ahead of the chains, it's a really dangerous offense. They have a phenomenal running back with Corey Kiner, who's averaging almost 6 yards per carry. They have some playmakers on the outside. Xavier Henderson, former top 100 recruit transfer from Florida. This offense is solid. I think what happened against Oklahoma is they got behind the chains a little too much, weren't really able to run the ball effectively. And when you force Emory Jones to become a pocket passer, that is for sure when he struggles. So you look at the matchup between these two teams. If BYU can win on first and second down, pin their ears back, keep Emory Jones in the pocket, force him into obvious passing situations, that's probably where you have the most success if you're BYU going up against the Cincinnati offense. But if you let them run the football, let Emory Jones get into this game with his legs, this is Cincinnati offense that I know just scored 6 points against Oklahoma, but if they can get Emory Jones going, being that athlete, can be really dangerous, very similar to what you saw with Jalen Daniels. You have to keep him in the pocket. You have to kind of force him to be a pocket passer, because if you don't and you let him get out there and be an athlete, that's when these guys are most dangerous. Getting to the pick here, BYU 2.5-point favorites at home. I like that a lot. And people were really down on this Cincinnati team. Even I was kind of down on Cincinnati heading into the year. This is a quality Cincinnati team. It would be a quality win for BYU, but BYU at home is another animal. I think the crowd is going to be absolutely rocking for a Friday night game. I think they're really disciplined on the defensive side of the ball. I think they'll be able to stop Cincinnati's rushing attack. And if they can do that, confident that Cincinnati is not going to consistently move the ball on them. And if you see that Keaton Slovis that you saw against Kansas, I think you have to be really optimistic about what this BYU offense can do, even though they are struggling running the football. That's my pick. BYU, covering that 2.5 points at home. Very excited for this one. Friday night. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Again, if you do enjoy the content, you want to support the fellas, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, drop your picks, drop your takes below whether you agree or disagree with me. That's the beauty of it. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to you guys